The new Quest 3S versus the good old Quest 3. Which one should you buy and is it worth the upgrade? Let's dive right into it. The Quest 3S is the awesome new VR headset from Meta that sits right in between when it comes to comparing it to the hardware of the original Quest 2 and 3. That means that even though the name of the Quest 3S might make it sound or suggest that it is superior to the Quest 3, this is actually not the case in reality, and instead it is a mix of both. So let's break it down by starting this comparison with probably the first thing you will notice, being the new design and comfort. Now you can directly see that both the Quest 3S as well as the Quest 3 are part of the same family of headsets. This goes all the way from the box it comes in to the bright white color and included head strap. But while they might seem very similar at first, there are actually already some big differences from the start. The first one is the new layout of the outside cameras, where they are now in two groups of 3 on the Quest 3S, compared to the pill-shaped like sections on the original Quest 3. But besides helping you to distinguish which headset is which, they also have an important function. So one great thing about this is that these cameras now make it possible for the Quest 3S to finally display full color pass-through. And that means that because of these cameras, it will give users the access to mixed reality experiences, just like you already have on the Quest 3, which is honestly a big upgrade from the black and white grainy view on the good old Quest 2. But what a lot of people don't know is that the 3S lacks a depth sensor, which is present in the original Quest 3. And the second big difference in hardware is that the Quest 3S is using the old Fresnel lenses compared to the newer Pancake ones. And this can actually change a lot, because the newer Pancake lenses don't only take up much less space to make the headset overall 40% smaller, it also has a bigger sweet spot and reduction of glare, what most VR users refer to as God rays. So if you already had a headset like the Quest 3, which uses the new lenses, it can be very difficult to go back to the old ones. Besides, this also leads into the difference in IPD settings, where the Quest 3S lets you change the distance of your lenses in 3 different levels, similar to what the Quest 2 does, while the Quest 3 on the other hand has a slider built into it that can let you fine-tune the distance much more specifically. But one feature that a lot of people seem to have missed is that the Quest 3S will also not have a headphone jack anymore. Instead, it will rely completely on the built-in speakers. And while the bass audio of the headset is pretty great, it would be nice to have the option to plug in some earphones when needed. But luckily, there are also some big hardware upgrades that we should talk about. For example, the Quest 3S will rock the same dual strap headband right out of the box, which is a massive improvement over the single strap from the Quest 2, because this lets you adjust it much quicker and easier, as well as giving you more comfort during longer playing sessions. But maybe just as important as the headset is of course the included controllers, with both Quest 3 and 3S rocking the same Touch Plus controllers, which have much faster and more accurate tracking thanks to the new ringless design and sensors built into it, making it a nice upgrade for those who are used to the older Quest 2 controllers. But that gets us to one of the most important differences, which are the graphics and performance. Because the best news is that the Quest 3S is rocking the exact same chipset as the Quest 3, which is known as the XR2 Generation 2 chip. This gives it an absolute insane mobile processor, resulting in some great performance during your games. And it also means that thanks to this chipset, it will be able to render your games at the same level of detail as well as textures that you see on Quest 3. And on top of that, they also both got the 8GB of RAM inside. But sadly, there are also some downgrades when we start to look at the graphics itself, because the Quest 3S is making use of the slightly lower quality LCD panel that we also have in the Quest 2, while the Quest 3 is using higher resolution dual LCD panels. Now keep in mind that this difference in pixels isn't that big, but it is noticeable when comparing them directly to each other, especially in combination with the previously mentioned older Fresnel lenses. So in that regard, the Quest 3 brings a more sharp and crisp image. But the most important thing of all that we should talk about is of course the games, because the great thing is that all virtual reality games that can be played on the original Quest 3 can also be played on the Quest 3S. This goes from all the mixed reality apps to even the bigger VR titles like Asgard's Wrath 2. So you won't ever have the problem, like a lot of Quest 2 users right now, that some of the newer newer games are not available for your headset, with Meta also announcing that this will be the case for the entire life cycle of the 3S. And this is possible since both of these headsets are rocking the same chipset and are capable of playing the same game no matter the condition. And that also goes for the software updates. So whenever there's a new feature like improved frame rates or other enhancements, it won't matter if you have a Quest 3 or Quest 3S, since you will both get these features regardless at the same time, which is sadly not the case with the previous Quest 2. But that gets us to the main selling point of the Quest 3S, and that is the price, with Meta aggressively pricing the new 3S at a total of $300, which is exactly the same strategy that they used with their hugely popular Quest 2. But with these $300, you will get the headset model that includes 128GB, but you can also choose to buy a 256GB model for a total of $400. And this could be worth the upgrade for some people when you need a bit of extra storage space if you're playing a lot of big VR games. However, what a lot of people missed is that the original Quest 3 now also got a big reduction at the same time, with Meta cutting it down to $500, which includes the biggest storage option at a whopping 512GB, making the Quest 3 right now at an insane value for the headset. Of course, it is also impossible to deny that the Quest 3S has a fantastic price tag for the hardware that it brings, and that positive shock is also the goal of Meta in the first place. But it is also important to know what you get included for this price, because besides the headset, you will also find the Touch Plus controllers with 2 AA batteries, a glass spacer, a charging USB-C cable with power adapter, and your safety and warranty guide. But what you absolutely don't want to miss here is that just like with the original Quest 3 launch that included the Asgard's Wrath 2 game, now both the Quest 3S and Quest 3 will include the highly anticipated Batman Arkham Shadows game. And Meta also throws in 3 months worth of Quest Plus, so that you can get a bunch of free games from the start. But to make it even better, I also left a link for both the Quest 3 as well as the Quest 3S in the description below, that besides these games also give you $30 of free store credit that you can spend however you want. So make sure you don't miss out on that. But that gets us to the final conclusion. The Quest 3S and Quest 3 are both absolute amazing headsets that truly push the boundaries of what we can do inside VR. But both of them have their own big differences, where the Quest 3S has the best price tag that starts at only $300, while somehow still managing to pack in some awesome features like its insane processor, to the mixed reality functions, and even the Quest Plus controllers. But it is the original Quest 3 that takes it up a level with its newer pancake lenses and higher resolution screen starting at $500. And that means that if you are upgrading from the original Quest 2, or if you're looking to buy your first VR headset but don't want to spend the max amount on it, then the Quest 3S will be a good upgrade for you. But if you want to get the latest and greatest cutting edge experience that you can have in virtual reality, then spending a bit more to get the Quest 3 is probably your best option. Either way, with the inclusion of the free Batman VR game, as well as 3 months worth of Quest Plus, you will be set to have some great VR experience from the start, no matter which one you choose. And of course, don't forget the $30 of free extra store credit that you can grab in the link below. But there are still some more details and comparisons of the Quest 3S that you definitely want to see. So click on the video that is shown on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out on it. And of course, stay awesome.